Alright, so hey everybody, my name is Ariana. I'm going to be talking about the impact of adverse childhood experiences, otherwise known as ACEs, specifically focusing on the effects of middle childhood sexual assault and the different effects going into early adulthood that aren't being researched enough, I feel like, or even talked about enough. So yeah, let's just get into it. So first of all, what is ACEs? ACEs, again, is adverse childhood experiences. They're a range of events. They can be events that are traumatic or non-traumatic in some people's eyes, but everybody has their own view of trauma. And it can make it a lot harder to recover from trauma in the future, especially with the other physical health challenges that it can also create. So some common ACEs that we see are obviously physical and sexual and emotional abuse, which are talked about on almost a daily basis. I feel like one that's not talked about a whole lot is household dysfunction, which can be just as traumatic as any other kind of abuse, and of course other types of childhood experiences. Why is this important exactly? Understanding and addressing these experiences is how we're going to move forward in future generations and improve the overall health and well-being of humanity, essentially. But studying ACEs helps us identify things that lead to major mental and physical health problems that a lot of the time don't get diagnosed properly because there's a lot underlying psychological issue based upon what happened in early childhood, early middle childhood. So globally, over 370 million girls and women, and don't forget the boys as well, between 240 and 310 million boys and men experience sexual assault, all before the age of 18. Which is what we're looking at, the ages of between middle childhood and before 18. And while yes, this does obviously come with a bunch of mental health outcomes, it also gives increased risk of chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, just things that are generally seen as a lifestyle issue that oftentimes are linked to past childhood experiences, which is fascinating because it's not talked about enough. Sorry, that was my cat. So a lot of the times these adverse childhood experiences lead to a lot of adolescent cannabis use, starting very early on, as early as the ages of 12. Childhood physical and sexual abuse has been proven to increase the risk of adolescent onset cannabis use. There was a research study done where out of 8,700 articles were screened, and it was concluded that they were at very low risk of bias, and it proved this theory over and over. And it was shown that these were being used as other mechanisms of coping, or like self-medicating, which is what we're talking about as far as altered neurodevelopment due to trauma. People literally developing differently, and some medications or things just not working out for them, and in that case cannabis is what they resort to. Not only do we have all of the mental health effects that go along with these, but as well as the physical effects. So all of the increased higher adult usage of healthcare is being used on a daily because of these childhood experiences. How can we prevent this going forward? We can prevent children's social and emotional development as they are, never trying to and always listening to them, really protect them against these different further outcomes, and looking at this very, very early so that way we can hopefully help them further in the future and prevent and reduce the negative effects of early trauma. We really want to strengthen our economic supports for families and promote social norms against violence and adversity, and always ensure that our children's early development opportunities are what we want to stand for. Of course, as always, there are resources for anybody in need. The national hotline is always available. And that is going to be it for my presentation. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a